Testing, testing, one, two, testing, one, two.
Nobody driving, we're in the back to the end of the world.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Write With Me. For those of you who are new, let's get you set up. So let's see. We've got... where is this? Here we go. So for those of you who are new, we are doing a Write With Me live screenwriting from scratch. Today is day 22. And it's more synthesis. Synthesis is what happens when we get a bunch of research notes and then we have to integrate them into our story. So welcome to Screenwriting with the Ballad of Garvin Hackett. It's a movie script bit being written completely from scratch. As you see, this is live. It's not scripted. The logline of the movie is it's an ironic, darkly comic take on 90s action movies. Forrest Gump meets Scarface, directed by Sidney Lumet. So the laws of physics actually apply. Instead of going the traditional development route, I'm writing this movie in public directly for you to visualize later, maybe as a cinematic graphic novel, although I've had some other ideas recently of ways that we can visualize that would be fun. So grab a notebook or a keyboard and write along with me. If you want to follow along from the beginning, you can check out the Liminal Boundaries Channel at this link, which you'll see in the description. All right, so that's it. Now, to get started, let's do the tradition now is to welcome the everyone in the empty chat. Welcome everyone. All right, and let's check my. Let's go. I want refresh. And let's see. There we go. Okay, so now I know that we're connected. All right, let's get started. So let's go to something interesting was happening. So last time we were doing a little research, and there's something really cool that I just discovered. So it turns out that we were working on the PIN numbers of the prison system. So if you how does a prisoner talk to people on the outside? So we have this guy, he's a career criminal, his name's Whitey, and he is in the prison system. He kills somebody in 1991, and then he gets out in 1994. And so what we were looking at is how he would be communicating with people outside the prison system, because he's in a gang and he's communicating with the other gang members, or specifically his boss. And his boss is a kind of a pillar of the community type, so he wouldn't be going to the jail, and their communications are monitored. So we've been looking at that. And the first thing we got that was really interesting, other than the PIN numbers and the way they did it, was that 1991 to 1994 was actually the transition from making a collect call to, in 1994, putting in your PIN. And the lawsuit wasn't settled about how this system would work until like 1996, which is past our story. So this gave me an idea. And the idea, I'll put it into the notes here. Now that you're with me here, I'll put it into the notes. Let's see, let's go to the notes. Okay. Prison system. Okay. So, what do I call this? Let's call it a sequence idea. Okay. And let's say one idea here. And for that, I'm just gonna move it up. Okay. And the sequence idea is this. The first time that Whitey calls out in 1991, it's a collect call, and that's to the attorney. The second time Whitey talks to the outside world, he's talking to the attorney, but talking to Joelle directly into the bag phone that the attorney smuggled into the prison while pretending to look at legal documents. The third time that he's in prison making the call, he's got the PIN system. So he's putting in his PIN, right? And at that point, there would be no answer, right? Like the lawyer would not be responding to him. And that tells him he's kind of been abandoned. Now, one subplot that I have been thinking of is that in order to get back his job, so to speak, he would want to make the gang depend on him. And so threatening the gang to reveal Garvin's identity, like in exchange for like a shorter sentence. It would be something he would do. But at the same time, so there's several ways to play it, right? One way is he tries to expose Garvin. And the gang. But the cops actually like what's happening. So what's happening is that Garvin is basically killing an entire gang of people called the Booby Boys that the feds are here down here in a joint task force to investigate. And that's one way. So options, I put options. The other is he threatens Joelle. But that would get him killed. Right? And then the third is they just screw him. They forget about him. And then this actually does happen. This did happen at this time, is he gets overflowed out, right? He keeps his mouth shut. And gets overflowed out. So that would be the third option. But I don't need to answer that right now. That's just a note. What I do need to do now, though, is I need to figure out a way to organize this background material. So, to that end, let's talk to Gemini. Hey, Gemini. So, I'm writing a script, and I have my character sheets and my outlines and stuff, but then I have this material that is sort of in my notes, and it's more about the background of the world and how things worked at the time, because everything happens in 1994 and 1991 in South Florida, in Miami Beach. So I'm thinking, what would that file name be that in 6 months I would know, oh yeah, this is where I would find that. I'll give you some examples. One of them is the background life of one of my characters, and it's like a whole biography. And it doesn't really belong in a character sheet, but maybe I can put it in a character background, document. Oh, that's a way to do it. And then I have stuff about the prison system, and I have stuff about police procedures around some of the crimes that are taking place in the story. So what's a good way to organize that? I'm looking for some file name organizations. All right, let's see. Let's see what Gemini is doing. And while we're doing here, yep. I'm going to chill out in my Sonnet stuff. Changing my model down to something a little less crazy. I've noticed that Anthropic's been like pushing all the latest models that suck up more of your allocation. They want you to pay more. Okay. The classic writer's dilemma. The miscellaneous pile of brilliant research and lore that doesn't quite fit into standard character sheet, but is way too important to lose. You definitely don't want your prison system notes or police procedures getting lost in the digital abyss. To make sure your future self actually remembers where things are 6 months from now, the secret is consistent prefixes. Okay. Character dossier. Since these are full biographies that don't fit. Oh, I can do a biography. That's it. A biography. Okay. So, biography. That's the first change we're going to make. So we have characters already. And we have Whitey Jackson. What we don't have is a Whitey Jackson biography. So let's do that. So we'll go writing, Garvin, characters, Whitey, bio. That's the biography. Why? Because if we ever search in the future for bio, it'll show up. If we ever search for biography, it will show up. But if it just says bio, it won't show up if we choose for biography. So there we go. Now we have this. Great. So now we can go here. We can go writing. Just go to the Garvin Hackett. Garvin Hackett. And let's get Whitey Jackson's character sheet. And we'll move all this stuff of his history into that file, because this doesn't belong in a character sheet. Okay. There. And okay. And there we go. And then here, elementary school. Okay. Okay, so I can clean this up later, but it's organized now. So I have Whitey's biography and I need it. I'll close that up. The other area that I needed to do was a notes. Let's go back to Gemini and see. Sometimes all you need is like the word, you know? Setting. This is your world building and cultural context. Let's say character background. I wonder if background is even a better word than biography. It kind of is. Let me do that. So go to Garvin, go to biography, and open that up and call it background. Yeah. Cool. So that's done. Let's go here. Setting and era. This is your world building and cultural context. It's the vibe and reality of the timeline. World, Miami, 1991 to 94. Timeline for tracking what happened when. South Florida atmosphere for notes on the music, weather, clubs, and local flavor. Why this works. World immediately tells you this isn't plot or character. It's the rules of the sandbox. Okay. This is your hard factual research. You want to separate this from creative and world building because it relies on technical accuracy. So we have research. Oh, I could say, yeah. Okay, so I can do research and then I'll do, yeah, this will work. So let's see what we have in our notes here. So we go to our research questions where we have a bunch of stuff that we need to clean up. Let's see. So I think we'll do research. Research will be our sub. So we already have research there. So we'll go here. And what do we call, let's see, what do we call police procedures? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So we'll go create a new file, call it research police procedures. Okay. And now we've got our police procedures file, and then we'll go to our notes. Let's see. Research police, research news technology. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll create, so we'll go writing, Garvin, research, news broadcast technology. Okay. So now we're beginning to have some sort of organization around this. So let's go. Let's see if I can just get, I need to do cars. Yep. We'll do that too. Writing, Garvin, research, exotic cars. Cars, exotics. Because there's going to be, what are the common cars, right? I'll just go exotic cars. It really is fascinating when you look at a car from the early 90s, mid 90s, and you realize how much cars have advanced. Inexorable, the advancing of technology. Okay, so let's go back to our notes. And here we have a bunch of car notes. Cool. And we'll bring this down, 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 down. This is so slow. Maybe we'll be faster up. There we go. Exotic cars. And we'll go here. I'll paste that. Okay, so we got our exotic cars. Let's see what else is in our notes. Prison system. Did I do that yet? Let's see. Research. I'll do that one now. So new tab. Garvin, research, prison system. Okay. And let's go to the notes. That's where we had stuff. Okay. Prison system. Whoa. This is it's the way the sausage gets made. Just, you see, it's not even that creative at this point. Just organizing stuff is a lot of it. Okay, so we got that. This is important. Oh yeah, I gotta do this. So we'll make another one. And we'll call it, no, that's not what I wanted. Delete the current file. Delete. Okay. So what we want is we want a new tab. We want to open a new file. So we'll call it Garvin Hackett research, and I'll put sources. That's going to be cool. Why? Why am I doing research sources? Because here are resources for actually finding how people got killed. Like crime, true crime stuff. So these notes, okay. Okay. So this is going, and I put it here. And I'll call this see where to find crime research. Let's call it crime research. Crime research sources. Okay. And cool. And I don't need this anymore. All right. So let's get this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so these are now legitimate ideas. Okay. 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 All right. Technology. Okay. I think I have news gathering technology now. Let's see. Research, news broadcast technology. Yeah, let me use that. So, oops. Oh no, this is the barcode data. 3-tube font projector. This is for the home theater technology. Yeah, this is home theater technology. So where would I put that? It's not news broadcast technology, it's home theater tech. Let's see. I'll just create a new tab and call it Garvin Research, and I'll put home theater technology. Okay, so now we got that, and we can move all of this into there. So there we go. And we'll organize these later and make them nice. Right now we're just doing metal work. Just getting all this stuff done. It's kind of housekeeping in a sense. This is good though. Sometimes you get a little burned out on your own creativity and you just want this mindless stuff. You don't want to do too much of it though. Let's see. Office supplies. Okay. So the one that doesn't seem to fit is the surveillance tech. Polaroids of TV. Oh yeah, no, this works. Okay, cool. So I'll call it I guess conspiracy board. I'll do that. So new tab. So this is for the conspiracy board. It's one of the set pieces in the film. It's basically a diagram shaped roughly like a human body of the enemy gang and who Garvin's going to tackle. So that's going to be actually the explanation of that's going to be the explanation of the montage. So I think in the final edit, you'll see him explaining the stuff, and then you'll see Garvin executing the stuff. It's going to be one of those like murder montages that Martin Scorsese does, you know, like in the Las Vegas movie he did, where they just show a bunch of people getting killed, you know, at a certain point. All right. Same thing with Goodfellas when you see all the dead people showing up after the Lufthansa heist. So let's see. Where were we though? Let's see. We're not theater technology. Yeah, office supplies, right? Conspiracy board. Conspiracy board. There we go. And let's get our notes. And what this does, guys, is really, it cleans your palette a little bit, right? When you go through and everything's all over the place and you have to dig through stuff, it just creates friction for your creativity. At least it does for me. So I like to just put everything in its place. I have a, in case you guys didn't notice, I have here in Garvin Hackett, I had a whole index of all these files. So I can always look and find the stuff when I'm looking for it. So when I want to look for something, I come here. But I don't want to be in my notes and then having to look for stuff. So now these are notes, right? These are just ideas. And I'm going to change this to ideas. That's what it's going to be. Change the name. Boom. Ideas. Now everything is a little bit more together. There we go. Cool. And then we can put away the conspiracy board, put away the home theater technology. Yep. Let's see. Research sources, crime research sources. Yep, we got that. And then the prison system. We're going to put more stuff in here. So we got our ideas. We got our outlines. Yeah. Okay. So I think we did that. That's pretty much, we figured out a way to organize this stuff. And let's look at our research questions. Oh, wow. Lots of stuff here. Lots of notes that we need to synthesize in the prison system. Okay. Oh, and the police procedures too. Okay. Look at all this stuff. This will kill your creativity. Just overflow your brain. So let's see. The prison pin system. This is something that okay. This is something that I definitely, I'm glad I did the research on, but I don't want this in the middle of my writing stuff. I want to find it if I need it, right? So let's see, prison system. Okay. And then we'll go back to research questions. Okay, Federal Joint Task Force. Federal prosecutors, Janet Reno. Okay. So this is the background of the police. So let's go there. Research. Police procedures. Okay, and then we'll go back to research questions. Basically, you know, at a certain point you have to, it's like declaring Gmail bankruptcy, right? You have to go back through all your notes and clean them up. You can't just be like adding notes and adding notes. Let's see. Okay. Attorney loophole. code language on a payphone, corrupt corrections officer. This doesn't really feel like it's... This is more speculation from an AI. Let's see. So I don't want to put... I just want to put facts in my notes, right? So like Kenneth Booby Williams, this is important. What would I do that? Yeah. I'm going to call it... Let me ask the AI, because I don't like to... Oh, this is the kind of stuff I don't like to waste time on. Okay, good. This is good. I've got an idea. So of what I can do now. What I want you to do now is give me a name for the file where I would have... It's not the police procedures, which I have a file for already, but it's sort of for the criminal gangs that were active at the time. It's research on like the crime at the time, but I need like a really, really simple file name for it so that 6 months from now it would be obvious what this is. Let me put down what I actually have in the note so you can see. I'm just going to give it the actual note because it's so small. Where is it? Research questions. Here it is. Just copy pasta. See what it says. Let's see what it says. The Booby Boys. Yep. Yep. Miami gangs. 90s. I'm just going to go with gangs because it all takes place in Miami, but I like it. So let's do that. So AI is good for that, giving you file names. So we're going to go with gangs. Let's see. I'm going to go Garvin. Research. All right. And got the research question. We got the gang here. And we'll put that over there. Just cleaning up fast, high level stuff. This is how an executive works, not like an artist. When we're an artist, we have to go back down, go into the details. So okay, so I gotta get another name for what this is. Sort of a communication notes on how to communicate. This is them. This is the AI. Give me suggestions. And I already decided which one I'm going to do. It's not going to be a visit from McLean Legal. Although that could be a cool scene, but you need to be talking. It's not as dramatic. It's better if you're just talking to the guy. Corrupt corrections officers. I don't know about kites. Not for this. Code language in a payphone. Yeah, this is definitely going to happen. And the attorney loophole. Yep. So that would definitely work. And then okay. Scheme number 2. This is the one that I would use. The dirty attorney briefcase. Yes. And then in a private poolside cabana. Yes, that is true. Okay, so this is the bombing scene protocol. Let's see. Let's go here. Just to get things a little bit more cleaned up. So this is the perimeters. This is police procedures for like a bomb situation. Yep. If he actually picks it up, that's contamination and a 70. Yeah. The thing is, the AI doesn't just answer my questions. It sort of gives me ideas and it messes me up because it's cool, but yeah, I gotta put this in. This is good. Police procedures. And the AI also makes these weird like subtitles and stuff, like it's telling a story. Oh, I'm not a fan. I wish it was just more almost robotic, right? Than trying to be creative. Okay, the bomb scene protocol. That's police. So and should probably talk to the AI about this one. Okay, so I have material about police procedures, like how the police at the time would like secure a scene where a car bomb went off. But then I also have stuff about what was going on at the time legally in the prisons and in the joint task force, and how police were enforcing the law and what kind of innovative ways they were trying to develop to handle the gang problem. So should that be two files? And if so, what would be their names? Or can I get one overarching file that's really obvious what's in there? Let's see what it says. It's almost 4. Let's see. Yep. Law enforcement. I think law enforcement. Law enforcement would do it. Yep. Yeah, it's just law enforcement. That's going to be the one. Who would have thought that writing is so much about naming files? So, where's it? There's police. I'll call that law enforcement. Law enforcement, that makes sense. And then we go back to our research questions. I think we already have that, so see if we can paste it in. Oh yeah, we already got the bombing scene protocol in there, so that works. And let's see what we have. Research questions. Okay, this is the communication one. And this is an idea. So this goes into ideas. And we'll paste that here. So I'll put here contrast Whitey's prison environment with Joelle's luxurious environment. Okay. Just a note there for us. And we'll go back to the research questions. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I'm going to talk to the AI again. Okay, so now I'm working on how an inmate would communicate with somebody in the outside world. It's very different from how the phone system works, which is more factual. These are schemes that a prison inmate might use to communicate. And we have sort of narrowed down on a couple. And I want to have like a file name that I can look at, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what this is. Because this is less so much facts as it is sort of ideation or speculative, but it is research. Let's see. Yeah. Prison communication ideas. Maybe inmate communication. Go with inmate communication. Let's see. So we already have prison. So let's see. We have research. We have prison system. I'm going to say inmate communication. Yeah. So let's go. We'll go. We'll call it Garvin. Research. Prison. Inmate communication. Schemes. There we go. And we go to our research questions. And this is definitely going in there. Okay. Prison communications. All right. So now we have our research question is entirely empty, as it should be, because this is just for research questions, not for the notes. And let's see. Okay, this is his. Okay. That note of why he's called Whitey. I'm gonna move that into his background. Okay. So that's done. And let's see. So I think we've synthesized the notes. There's still a lot that we can do in there, but this isn't a project where we're trying to get the cleanest notes. It's try to get a story written. So I think just organizing it that way helps in case I need to reference this stuff in the future. Let's see what we got. Just a quick review. We have research questions, research the conspiracy board, the exotic cars, the gangs, the home theater technology, law enforcement, news broadcast technology, the prison system, prison inmate communication schemes, and research sources. I think it's pretty good organization. Let's go, now that we've got all this stuff, I'm thinking, there's probably some stuff that I have flying around, like Roger Gust. I bet you have some notes at the bottom of that. Notes. Boom. Live tech live signal. Okay. Look at this. This is the news gathering van information. Okay. So I'm going to take this out of his character sheet. New van line of sight drama. All right. So we do have this. So let's go to it. Research, news broadcast technology. There we go. That's done. And that's a big weight off Roger and his story. And then these notes here. Yeah, this is good stuff. Yeah, and it is like with their story. So I'll leave it here. And let's go back to Roger, his character. I might have some stuff in there. Let's see. Just to clean it out. Notes. This is all the equipment. Oh, here we go. Yeah. A lot of stuff here that I have to look at. So dropout is good. So, conflict device. Dropout. All right. That was my timer going off. It seems like we've still got some work to do here, though. Let's see. So, see, a lot of these are ideas, and I don't want to throw the ideas into the research. Oh. Okay. Continuity of the newsroom wall. This is an interesting idea because they're using the same kind of materials that Joel is using. So there might be a visual theme there where you have the conspiracy board that Joel is putting together and he's crossing people off, and you see these guys and they're basically recreating it in the van. So that's an idea. And this is research. So I'm going to take this research and put it into the electronic news gathering. Just go, there it is. News broadcast technology. Okay. Don't need this. Newsroom wall. Okay. And then I'll get this and copy it and put it into the ideas section. And I'll call it the newsroom wall. Same thing. No. No. Go back to where was it? Get rid of some of this stuff. There it is. Do this again. We'll yank that out. And we'll go back to the ideas. Pop that in. The newsroom wall. Either in the newsroom or in the van. Roger is putting together the equivalent of what Joel is monitoring with his conspiracy board. In other words, as Joel crosses people off, Roger is building the body. Based on his own crime stories, trying to find a common thread. Okay. So that's the newsroom wall. I like it. Okay, and then a prison communication sequence. Okay. It's called the prison communication sequence. The newsroom wall, that's a triple, so we'll give this a triple. Now our ideas are beginning to get a little bit more organized, see? We get the prison communication wall. And these are like legit ideas for the script. They're not like hiding in notes anymore. And let's see. Yeah. I mean, this is great stuff. I'm going to call it the shootout, the revenge. This is idea, okay? 1, 2, 3. The massacre. Okay. And Whitey shooting Garvin in the face will come later. And this is not part of the massacre. Let's see. Over here. So, massacre. Okay. And these three things, these things are not part of. Go. And this guy goes here. These are roughly in chronological order. Yep. Okay. Cool. We have the prison communication sequence and the newsroom wall idea. Cool. These are like legitimate ideas now. Great. And let's see, where were we that we had all this stuff to do? Wow, all this stuff. Broadcast news technology. I think this is where we're going to leave it today. Let's see. Okay. So this line of sight drama, that's an idea too. We'll see wherever we need more drama. But it is a legitimate idea. The newsroom wall. Come on. Broadcast technology. Boom. Let's go to all right. The geography, since Florida's flat. If he is reporting an chaotic shootout in a dense neighborhood like Little Havana or near the high rises of Berkeley, can't get a signal out. Your script can have a tense moment where he's screaming at his tech guy to park the van on the top ramp of a parking garage just to clear the surrounding buildings and get a line of sight to the downtown receiver. That's pretty cool. Kind of like that. I don't know when we would do it. But it's a cool idea. All right, let's go. Okay, so this thing can go. This is pretty clean. Okay. So I think this is a good stopping point because this is news broadcast technology. We can always go into these things. We can go research mining when we need ideas. Law enforcement's pretty well taken care of. The research questions have all been answered at this point. So the next thing we're going to do is the structure and the outline, it seems like. I mean, there's still stuff in here, but I think these ideas are good. I think the prison system is pretty good. There may be some stuff to mine in here. Yep. And prison communication scheme. Yeah. That's sort of baked in. Okay. So we have our ideas, our to-dos, our video description, Roger Gust. Oh, Roger Gust. We still got a way to go with Roger here. There's still a lot of stuff here that's not really about Roger. Look at all this. Look at all this junk. Yeah. All right. So this is where we're going to come to next. I'll put it in my to-dos because we do got to do that. Let's see. Clean up Roger Gust. Character sheet. Something tells me this is going to be good stuff we can mine. So I'm going to do an episode on that on the next one. All right, guys. Well, that's about it. I think for today's episode, in terms of writing, for those of you who are interested and you want to learn this craft, well, in that case, let's see. I have a video for you. Yeah, so I have a screenwriting masterclass, and I'm a professional script doctor. And if you like the tools, if you're interested in the tools I'm using and you want to learn how to use the ones that I demonstrated in this video, the kind of tools that working writers use to write, rewrite, and develop stories quickly, this lecture shows you how. It's right here in the, I'll have to do this. This is fun. Right here in the QR code. The tools that I use apply to any kind of narrative storytelling, whether it's screenplays, novels, comics, television, games, all of it. So if you write with characters and you're writing a story, this will really help you sort of understand how to write quickly and at high quality and consistently, which is the hallmark of, professional. And this particular masterclass includes full scene breakdowns from well-known films and hands-on guidance for anyone who's serious about telling stories. So a portion of every sale supports the Arts Accelerator, a nonprofit dedicated to developing the skills of emerging artists. You can find out more about them at artsaccelerator.org. That's Arts Accelerator, is all one word, .org. And that's about it. If you made it this far, thank you so much, and I will catch you on the next one.